want to start?
Yes.
This is your final one. You can start
Episode
the
13. Whoop. Yes. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Okay, so this is episode 13.
You made it. You made it to the end.
I know, and do you remember my reaction?
What? The starting part of it? Like,
all of
you
it.
didn't want to be a part
I
of
was
this?
like,
or?
20 minutes?
Yeah.
You gotta be kidding.
And now it drags out and people are, can we cut it shorter? Like, can we go back to the 20-minute
Some
days?
people.
Yeah, we have that's a talking point we're going to have tonight.
Yes.
Today. Whatever it is.
So, this is episode 13. This is David Gane.
This is Angie Cunhas.
Here I am. And today we have somebody in our audience. Yay! Say hello.
Hello.
So there we go. There actually is another human here.
Yeah. And it's not one of my children or my wife.
No, it's
or
like
anything.
a third party.
If it was my wife, a very deep voice on that.
She's a very manly wife.
Hello, how are you?
So Evan Ulmer is our guest and making sure our show looks nice and we don't have to worry about nobody being on the other side.
And he's already given us some tips. We'll see if he reduces some of the banging that we have.
Yeah, he made a great suggestion, so that's awesome.
But I'm gonna actually interrupt the show a bit and move that mic a little further away from me because.
From you or from me?
From me.
Okay.
I'm moving it closer to you. So yeah.
Okay. So here we are, episode 13. We have a
We made
director.
it to the end.
We made it to the end.
He's already asked us if we're going to do another episode or like another season. And I think we are, right? We have plans.
Yes, and Dave was pretty...
No, you can't say... Oh.
Pretty adamant about that we are. Well, you gave me a solid yes.
Oh, yeah.
No.
I mean, like, my plans for season 2.
Those are,
yeah.
Those are in
Although, okay, so let's... See, this is why the show always goes long.
It's like 3 hours later, everyone's
5
sleeping,
hours
Evan will be curled up in the corner over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've said who we are, what we're doing, what this show is about. We talk about writing, creativity, collaboration.
Things we love.
Things we love, food, everything. It's just jammed into this thing, and today is my birthday, so we're actually recording it a little earlier than we usually do it. So I've already been into the alcohol before the show.
To you.
Thank you. So we'll see how that ends up as this show goes along.
Yes, indeedy. We'll see how that goes.
So Evan's going to be like, yeah, come on. So my wife tells me that if you think the show is going slow, just like roll it around. Yeah.
Or if we say something inappropriate. Or if we say something stupid.
Okay, so I think we're done that part. What do we... it's me that brought in this. So I kind of did a collection of options. I picked 3, but we've only brought 2 into the show.
Yes,
right?
And we'll just discuss the 2.
Okay, we're not going to bring in the other one?
No, we'll save that for another time.
Okay, so... what's yours?
Mine is the Last Mountain Lemon Vodka Soda. Here it is. And it's from Lumsden, right? The distillery's in Lumsden.
I think so, yeah.
Yes. Our guest...
Evan says yes.
Evan's confirming it.
He's running the show.
Actually super
really,
helpful.
Actually, yeah. And then I got Rebellion Brewing, and I chose the Lentil beer. So we'll see. I've heard it's creamy. And
our floor director says it's
bright
delicious.
Gold. Yeah. So, and we gave him one too. So
and
he
nuts.
can drink.
We never have snacks on the show, and I think he should.
Why did you steal the nuts?
I thought it would be nice to have snacks while our guest is having a beer.
Okay.
That's why. I wouldn't do this for us.
Oh, it's like nuts for him.
Well,
is he allergic to peanuts?
No.
Okay, good. We found out he's allergic to other things, so we got to be cautious.
Can I have a sample?
Of this?
Yes.
Sure. I'm just going to put that beside the mic.
Little tiny so it can fizz. That's enough. Just a taste.
Okay.
Thank you.
Take it from the birthday boy.
Lentil beer. Happy birthday. Cheers.
Thank you.
Hey.
Do you want to cheers?
Ding. That was such a quiet. It's in the can.
So,
It's like beer.
Heather, our publisher, was talking about the show to somebody, and she described it as we sit and eat and drink and talk about writing, and I struggle to not burp. That's how she phrased the show. So thanks, Heather. I appreciate that.
It's important. It's a skill everyone should have.
Yeah.
To hold it back if you're not in the right moment.
Yeah. And I guess, well, actually, we'll get to that. So where are we at? This show is like off the rails already.
Here's where we're at. We have a guest director, and the reason he ended up here was because he asked an awesome question, and we said we'd have the next person who asks an awesome question in. Here he is.
Okay.
And we have your birthday. Happy birthday to you. Do you want to share how old you are, or is that nobody's business?
I'm 45.
45. There we go. Happy birthday to Dave, hardworking man. And where else are we at? Are we at this?
Yeah, let's announce.
Do it.
Let's talk about
Here's where we are. The third book in the Kunyas and Gane series.
It's in the house. It's
in the house.
It's physical. It's real. We haven't let Evan touch it. No one's allowed to touch it. My mother she wants to get copies of it, and I told her that she can only have it if she hides it away, forgets where it is, and then we remind her where they were.
Wow.
So yeah, that's the only
new.
Way.
Yeah, so we hauled a lot of books into the house, and we're pretty
and then we
excited
hauled
about
a couple of books back.
Yeah, there was a little number mishap.
But yeah, and we never really talked about this on the show, but we struggled a lot with the coloring on this, and this is actually a lot lighter color than it looks like when you look on the screen. It was really weird.
This whole cover was a whole episode.
It was
cover.
a challenge.
Yeah, but there we go.
Yeah.
Number 3.
So
we're at the hump. It's like a Wednesday.
You just spoiled the book of the week for yourself.
Well,
we'll talk about. We'll skip over it. We'll work with it. We'll roll with it.
Because we do.
We always have
to.
So
status of book 3 is that it is done. Wolf in Shepherd's Clothing. Yay! And we'll talk about that more in a little while.
Okay.
And what's next? We're working on our 4th book.
Yeah. Which is we use the title SC.
Yes.
So that we don't give away the title.
Secret.
Because if you read that, if you haven't read that, then I think it gives away a bit of the secret.
You have to get to the yes.
Yes.
I want to.
Yeah.
Okay.
This one has a lot going on in it, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see what the fans of the series, how they'll react to this one.
Yes.
So hopefully.
Yes.
Yeah. Knock on.
Everybody
wood.
has opinions about series work, though, right? It's like you make a movie and then you have the sequel, and people watch it and have Empire Strikes Back, amazing, right?
Yeah.
And then you have like Terminator 2, awesome, and then they'll do a sequel to something, it'll be like garbage.
Yeah.
So there's always opinions because people have expectations on what they think the next thing that happens should be.
Yes.
So we hope you like it. But we still want to hear your opinion.
We still know that there's expectations that I personally think that there's expectations that may not be fulfilled immediately, but they will be eventually.
Right. And I think that's okay.
Yes.
Don't just stick it for the long haul.
For the long haul. It's only 5 books.
It's only 5 books. Awesome.
So yeah, book 3, book 4 is in the works. We did some really good work. I really am excited about what's happening in it.
Yes. So, book 4 is pretty cool.
Yeah.
SC as we call it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. All right, so I gotta switch it over. This is rare that I actually bring this into the shot. Is it even in the shot? My computer? Okay. So
thank you. See, we don't even have to get up. We can just ask the other human.
Okay, so the reason Evan is here is he asked us a question on where? Just texting?
He sent me a text.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it was Ange sent me the screenshots, and I was like, I don't understand this question, so I said, let's just invite Evan into the show and have him explain it to us.
That's not an invitation, though, to write complicated questions.
Because this is a one-time only.
Write simple questions that we can understand.
Episode 13. It was the season finale of this.
Yes.
And it just seemed like there was a lot. Like, it worked out perfectly. My birthday, episode 13, season 1 finale, and then a complicated question that I needed an answer on. So, okay, so you said, I've been watching a lot of film book theory on YouTube. Something about Harry Potter, because that sentence doesn't make sense to me.
He's already editing. Don't worry, does it to me all the time.
Okay, and then you said something about, in these theories, they show complex characters, generational interconnections, thought, consideration, I got confused there, with some facts not necessarily available in the books, but in comments by the author. I understand that part. So, because J.K. Rowling is always like, hey, and this, and this, and this. Yeah. So your question is, are hard theory-provoking traits thoughts of organically occur in character development or a bit of both? Can you please unpack this question?
Yes, we want to know. Unpack this question. That's a good sentence.
Yes.
So when you're writing, are you thinking and strategizing of how to have kind of those theories, right? So
what theories?
So like J.K. Rowling, some of them will be, if you've watched the latest Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them,
there's connections between that and
going back to like 3 generations before the actual Harry Potter books begin, or who went to school with who. Like all that is figured out and lines up, and then influences that before, right? And then some of it is just very character development type stuff. So as you're writing, are you thinking of all those possible theories, those outcomes, kind of, or is some of that just you're doing so much character development of that person that those almost organically fall into place? I guess. Can
I start on this one?
This is a very good question.
It is. So one of the things I always tell my students.
Yes, you may. You may
I'm just like. Get out there! I get to push her out of the way.
It's your birthday!
So the episode will be called Dave Pushes Back. Oh. So the one thing I always... I have a bias, and that is not to do too much overwork of backstory and stuff like that. If you are spending so much time building the story world and story characters and everything like that, you're not doing the work of just writing. And I think that comes from me doing that in the past. I used to write journals and journals and journals about this world, and I'd do not storyboards. What do you call them? Like the vision boards or whatever. But I would do vision boards of my story worlds,
like webbing, sort of, where you have things and then you have things coming off.
Yeah, and scrapbooking into a book.
You know what that's called in school today? That's called graphic organizing.
Okay,
it's like a thing that we.
Well, and I know I'm a visual kind of organizer, but I was never doing the work, and so I now I'm like, most of the decisions that you're going to make when you're writing is going to be in the moment. Right? Like you get a general idea and you know kind of the direction your story's going, and then you're going to be like, oh, okay, I got to figure out this one thing. Like I'll call up Ange and say, oh, by the way, Tony played hockey, right? And she'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, and then I'll have built the story in that moment. I was writing it that morning, and if she hates it, then I have to pull it out and change it around, but usually she's
I'm like,
fine for it, right? Same with you'll write and write, and then I'll just
pull the stuff
and drag it into the story. So a lot of that is there. And when we first wrote the first book, Along Comes a Wolf, we knew we wanted to do a series, but we didn't have an end game of this is going to be 5 books. We just figured we were going to write a bunch of books, and they would go on and on and on. But then I realized, I don't know if it was in Along Comes a Wolf or Shepherd's Watch.
I think it might have been in the building of Shepherd's Watch. Okay,
and I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't, I love the world of the boys and everything, but I don't want to stay in this world for the rest of my writing life. I want to explore other worlds. I want to explore different characters. The big thing I find is being stuck in the voice of the characters. Bothers me, but there's some choices that we make that we don't get to use some of the words that maybe I'd love to use because
they're teenage boys and there's a tone in the story.
Yes.
Right? So we could become really wordy and literary and stuff, but it wouldn't even
fit
No.
with the story world. So we always kind of pull back on that. So I kind of like to branch out. So anyways, the moment that we knew we were going to have an end game, end plan, then we sat down and we were like, okay, what is that plan? What is the story? And the big question that everyone had was, what's Charlie's deal? That was kind of the first response to Along Comes Wolf. And so we said, okay, what is Charlie's deal? And we started really fleshing it out and talking about it. And then once we knew what it was, we started building all 5 books with that in mind. We know what the end game is. We know what book 5 is all about. We know, I love saying that I know what the final sentence of book 5 is right now, which is something J.K. Rowling also had. She knew what the thing was, and she would tease out what the last word was all the time. And I will sometimes slip out and say, this is what the last word is. I'm not going to do it on the recorded.
You don't get to know today.
So we know what that is. But then the funny thing is that as we were working on book 4, SC,
Yeah.
we suddenly realized we have filled in a lot of backstory that we've never put down on a piece of paper. And then we're like, oh man, we got to actually start putting this stuff in place. But by doing that, then we had to start answering questions like, when did this happen? When did, for example, Tony's parents meet? When did they get married? When was Tony born? When was Charlie born? When we know when even the parents were born, and we also would say, like, we'd slip out, like in Shepherd's Watch, we talk about the cabin, and we say that the cabin was bought by their parents in this year because it just worked for things. But then now it's like, oh, well, where did they get the money to do it? Now we have that answer, but it's like, oh, we have to figure out these pieces, right? So a part of it was figuring it out backwards, but we also had the plan. So it was like, but now we've put everything on paper, and I commented on it on the last show, or a couple of shows ago, that we used, I don't know how to pronounce it, Aeon.
Aeon, sure.
Aeon Timeline, I think it's called. It's a program that you can use.
It's awesome.
And
it really is.
And that's what we use to do it. I'm going to make sure to do a link this time.
Because and I mean, I think there's something in the legitimacy of writing a story in which you never want to be the one who somebody catches that loophole. It's like, how could they be at the Pink Floyd concert in like 1992 if they were only 12 years old, right?
Yeah.
Right? That kind of thing.
Because we weren't careful enough or whatever, right?
So there's a legitimacy to building those details and then having those backstories that make sense. And things have fallen, things that were in book 1, it's like, oh, whoops, Along Comes a Wolf. There's these small details that amplify as the story's being told. So I think the answer might be a little bit both.
Yes.
Like, there's an organic experience to writing, right? Like, I love
the organic. I don't like having things too set in stone, but then when the question comes up, now we have the answer for that question.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So that's really great. But because we have the outline, and then we have this beautiful program that Dave found, Aeon, where you can make sure that there are no holes in your plot or even in your character's experience, right? So things do connect to things for sure. And people do connect to people, which is also kind of cool.
We do have, I'm pretty sure, one plot hole, and I'm not telling it. I feel like I want to put a bounty on it. Whoever finds it first will give a free book to, or something like that. That's not set in stone.
No.
But yeah, there is the one that we know of. So, and I'm sure there's something else. I'm not going to tell you on camera, so you can't give me the look.
You can't tell me off camera either, because we have somebody in the room.
I've told you the answer too.
I forget.
You always forget.
There's a lot in my head. It's small.
I don't even know how you can say that. So does that answer the question for you?
Yes.
Is there more to the question you would like filled in?
Yeah, so I guess, and it kind of ties in, there's obviously details that aren't necessarily fully divulged in a story.
Yes.
So, and that's kind of what leads to the theories, right?
Yes.
Where, especially with a character, right, they think this is what's occurring, but that character actually doesn't know. And so as a reader, the character can be right in that assumption, they can be wrong, and that allows somebody who's analyzing that story to build off of that. So as you're writing, do you have those details that are alluded to or just thought of when you're writing that aren't actually explicit? Or
I'm going to say yes.
I was going to say yes as well.
Because right now we're in the midst of it.
And it's a mystery. And half of the fun of building this is to have people sit on the other side of that and try and figure it out.
Yes.
And so that...
tread carefully here.
Right. So I'm not going to give any information, but because it is a mystery, we are more aware of that idea of presenting the angles and kind of throwing some, what do you call them? Herrings? Red
herrings.
The red herring. Yeah, it's a new term. I'm learning so much.
It's such an old term. That's the funny thing.
It's not part of, it was not part of my vocabulary, but I think that's part of that, right? Is like throwing that in there to let the reader, even the character, right? As we're developing the character, does the character know what's going to happen next? Does and because it's a mystery, I think it's more prevalent than it would be, even if it wasn't a mystery, if it was like, I don't know, some other genre.
And I also like, there's one thing we faced actually in Wolf in Shepherd's Clothing, the new book, was that characters are saying things that either are lies and then everyone else is assuming is a truth, or they think it's the truth but it's actually false. So then that makes it it makes it much more complicated, not only for, what is the truth, what is the lie, but even for us to keep track of like who is actually telling what part of what truth and what lie and everything like that. So there is a lot of that, and I'm going to use this as a... No, actually, I'm not going to.
I don't know what he was gonna...
I'm going to go with this, is that one thing I really liked back in the day was in when they were talking about Lost, the TV show, that it was kind of an archaeological dig into the layers of the island, right? Each season you got a little deeper and a little further into the past until you finally got to the where the beginning is. And I feel like we are playing somewhat of that as the story goes, because we're always like, okay, let's dig up a little bit more and see what is going on in Charlie's past. Let's dig up a little bit more and find out what's going on in Charlie's past. And pacing that out has been interesting, but also you find yourself, you get yourself into a place and you're like, but I want to go over there. So then you'll be like, okay, what is truth and what is an assumption in these characters' worlds? And then can we play with that sort of idea? So yes, there's a lot of theories, there's lots of possibilities, and I find it's gotten trickier, and I'm always amazed with writers who are managing big storylines where it's like, okay, I said that thing way back in book 1, now I'm in book 4, can I still get away with that? And then you're going back and you're reading your own book and remembering things and like, oh crud, yeah, like we were just about to go to print and we realized we had doubled up the name of one character.
Oh yeah.
And we were like, okay, well, do we change this character's name and make it that way, or is this character in book 1 so minor that no one's going to really remember that we've doubled up names?
Yeah.
Not like the full name, just first name,
yeah.
and just to give like differences and stuff like that. So yeah, it's I find it's gotten trickier, and maybe that's part of the reason why I'll be so happy when book 5 is done, because it's like, we don't have to like
keep track of this world
keep
anymore.
track of the world as
Yeah,
much.
for
And
sure.
I still say to myself, at some point I'd like to come back and visit, see where everyone's at.
Yeah.
But of course, most of them are going to be dead because we'll kill them off by
Yeah,
book
'cause that's
5.
what we do, we kill
we love
people.
killing off everyone. Really,
Nice.
both Charlie and Tony will be dead by book 5. So it's just
like,
gonna be
what? And I'm like,
it's just gonna be the
plot twist.
Ben and Kia adventures. We used to joke all the time. My daughter would come walking by as we were working on book 2, and I'd be like, and that's how Charlie dies. And she would freak out and run out of the room.
Slam the door and be
I don't
angry.
feel like we're doing that because, it is the Charlie or the Shepherd and Wolf mysteries.
Yes.
So, but who knows? This is one of those
Oh.
assumptions. Maybe it's not Tony Shepherd
It's
who's running. It's Heather Shepherd who finishes
Who
off
knows?
the series.
Who knows? And it's like, oh darn, shame on me. What's the show that everybody loves? The medieval. I don't watch it.
Game of Thrones?
That one.
Everyone dies in that one.
That's what I heard. It's ruthless. You're like loving a character, poof, they're gone. What?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So
You never know.
it is a book, by the way, as well, Gabe.
I actually knew it as a book before because my friend Tracy took the book on a trip. So
Okay.
I was aware that it was a book long before it was a TV or movie.
Do we have any time for this?
I doubt it.
Do you have...
Our
It's almost 30 minutes.
thing is... You're like sleeping on the other side of the camera. You're
Yeah,
gonna stop
even
talking.
our computer gave up on us.
Yeah.
We
Our
usually have
teleprompter.
our teleprompter died. I'm going to... This is like such an off-the-rails show. There we go.
It's all the beer you've had,
Do
Joe.
we want another question? Did that answer your question?
Yeah,
did.
no, it was good. It was really good.
That was like... when we like dove in deep on our story series. I don't
It was
know
good.
what I was
It was
gonna
very
do.
good.
I kind of want to pull out
much.
one question.
Oh, look at you go. Watch, it'll be question 13.
I just want it to be question 13. Oh, I'm actually digging into... There's a lot of questions in this bag. And I was going to add a few more questions. Because we got another question. Oh.
Oh.
Well, yeah, let's work with this
This
one.
is a quickie.
Yeah, because I think we've already talked about it. Where do you find your inspiration for your characters, for your locations and plot? Okay, so let's do locations and plot. Well, characters and plot are pretty connected, and
Yes.
that's a whole
That's a
different
whole other
question
show.
for me.
Yes. Agreed, me too.
Somebody send a question about characters and plot, and I will answer it.
And I will sit here and smile and agree with Dave.
Because I'm very whatever about that. Okay,
Let's
so
start at the beginning. We are from the prairies.
now you got to be careful about what you give away on this.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just saying. Okay, so
I think we wanted to do something local.
Did we want to do something local?
Yeah?
Okay.
I think we wanted it to be like we're from the prairies. And I think that was the first inspiration for the location was let's be here.
Okay.
I think so. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't remember.
Yeah. And so then character inspiration,
People we know.
people we know, people we've met, people who have crossed our path.
Yeah, the interesting thing about that, the important thing about that is that if it's somebody you know or somebody I know,
We don't
it doesn't
necessarily
always
know.
Yes, so like my version of Tony and Charlie are very different from your version of Tony and Charlie. I know that because I don't know your version
You've never
in your
met
head,
them.
and
And
I've
yeah.
never seen in your head what it is.
No, you
right?
don't. You don't really want to go there. Right. So and location for Shepherd's Watch was your inspiration was just where your cabin is.
No, you started it.
Shepherd's Watch.
Yeah, we said we were gonna go into the forest, and you were like,
Oh
you
yeah,
you
let's do a
wanted
geocaching story
a character a murderer who kills people
with geocache.
geocaches.
Be careful, everybody.
And then I just put it in as a joke into the middle of the book.
Yes.
So
Which was kind of funny,
Yeah.
but we did end up in the woods.
yeah, but
Yeah.
then of course, when people are asking us about it, it's a little bit of Regina Beach, a little bit of Tobin Lake, a little bit of
Oscasu?
no,
No.
a Little Bear for me.
Little Bear, yeah.
So Yeah, there's like little
Nipawin.
pieces and everything like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you just did a shout out there.
Shout out to Nipawin. So yeah, character and location are usually our experience.
Yeah.
I think a lot of creative people call on their own experience, right? Like, I think even if we were to write about someplace we've never been, there would have to be a lot of research for it to be authentic.
Yeah, we want
right?
to get
Yeah.
a feel for it
Yeah.
and everything like that. And usually you get in your head as you're writing it, even if you don't, like you and I have written about this, a place in the book, and even been in different places in our heads, right?
Right.
Where it's like, oh no, it was this place, and I'm like, oh, I thought it was
Yeah, I'm like,
that
oh, I
place.
pictured that. You pictured,
So-
oh, okay. Yeah, so that's kind of
yeah.
cool.
Like I always think of my own high school when I'm thinking of a lot of some of the schools and stuff.
Okay, and
so.
I think of all the places I've
Schools
taught.
you've taught at, yeah.
For sure.
So, cool. That's quick. That was easy. Let's move it along. Book of the week.
Book of the week.
You're going to call out on ours. Pick it up. It is, well, I shouldn't say pick it up. It's going to be going to stores in the next little
This
bit.
is my book of the week.
Officially, it is shipping on our website on the 14th.
14th of April.
But it is available for pre-order, and just so you know, if you want it, you can order it and buy it and everything like that. It's physical. We've got 450 copies of them sitting in our house waiting to go out into the world. Let's also call out that we have a book
launch. We have a release party.
Scheduled April 21st at Multinational 33 1/3 Coffee Roasters
So
in
brew,
Regina.
coffee brew or beer brew. You decide.
You get whichever
And a
choice.
book.
And there's going to be donuts. They're limited supply though, so you need to, come early and get them. And I want to say this, is that if people are interested in coming and they want to be a part of it, send us a note on Facebook, or send us a note on...
Yeah, let us know you're coming.
Comment on our blog post. Let us know you're coming, so that if suddenly we need, 250 donuts, then we have a plan. Because we want to give away donuts.
And they're Charlie's thing.
Yeah.
They're a thing for him.
Beer and
Not
don't...
beer.
Or, sorry.
He's underage. He
Beer-
doesn't break the law.
Beer is my thing.
Here's Dave's thing.
As I
Happy
go
birthday
and
to
grab
Dave.
some more beer.
Coffee and donuts.
Coffee and donuts
Are
is
Charlie's
Charlie's
thing.
thing. And he's making Tony a fan of it.
Yes.
So yes, we kind of, that's the reason why we really embrace this location.
Yes.
They were really wonderful. So
Yeah, super easy going. So April 21st, launch party. Come and get a book. Come hang out with us. We'll sign your book.
yes, we're gonna have all the books there. So if you have a friend who's like, oh, I've never heard of these books, and you want to get them on it, we will be there. And we also have deals on books now for if you buy 3 of the books.
It's
So
so pretty.
you should definitely convince other people to buy our book.
Yes. So
Okay.
that's my book of the week.
Okay, and this is going to be a long-winded book of the week for us too. Jeez Louise. Okay, so I'm going to give you this one.
Thanks, Dave.
My pick of the week is The Power of Myth by Joseph Campbell. The reason I chose this is I was talking to my daughter, and this is one of those things that's kind of tricky. I don't totally embrace it, but I still like the
Really?
idea of it. There's some things like... So the reason I turned to this yesterday was because of the line "Follow your bliss," right? But it's a good idea, but don't follow your bliss if it puts you, destitute, or don't stress if you can't figure out what your bliss is, and then you are living in your parents' basement till you're 40, and you're like, I don't know what my bliss is, and everything. So it's this. I almost feel like I should pair this with a guy named, I think his name is Kel Newton, who's very anti follow your bliss. He says, he's like, don't follow your passion if you don't know what your passion is, and then you're just spinning your wheels waiting to find your passion. Usually, to me, you should know it fairly early on, right? Unless you stumble across it late in life. I don't know. But
sure,
you should do other things as well, right? Don't hold out until you find your bliss, is I guess his one point of view.
Right.
Cal Newport, not Cal Newton, it's Cal Newport.
Good job.
And then the other thing is that if you can't make a living on it, and it's funny because I'm rereading $100 Startup.
Which I brought to your house.
Philippo, yeah.
Yes.
And he's like, yeah, follow your bliss, unless of course, like your bliss does not pay the bills, and you're broke and poor and everything like that. Like, just because you love pizza doesn't mean, and this is his example, just because you love pizza and you love eating pizza, if no one's going to pay you to eat pizza, then don't sit there and waste your time trying to, dream of eating pizza.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
And I don't disagree with that, because I had a friend who loved the ultimate Frisbee scene, and she started making clothes and doing apparel and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But she got confused because she said, and she told me this, she said, I mixed up loving ultimate
Yeah.
with business. I hate business. I just love ultimate, and that's all I want to do.
Yes.
So I get that, right? It's like,
Yes.
I love pizza, but, well, that doesn't mean you should go open a pizzeria just because you really
Yes,
enjoy
and
it.
I guess I'm equating follow your bliss to, career and everything like
Yeah.
that. But I always think of the Cal Newport stuff, right?
However, can I devil's advocate this? They say that if you do what you love, the money will come.
See, I'm like,
Yeah, I know. I knew you would feel like that about that. I know. And you're talking to a girl who is a teacher.
Yeah.
I don't know why I did this. I'm actually a teacher. I shouldn't put it in quotation marks.
I'm a teacher.
Some days I'm a teacher, and some days I'm a teacher. Because, well, you know.
Anyways.
Evan knows. Poor Evan.
We can't bring those stories and record them.
No, we can't record those stories. So, yeah. So, Joseph Campbell. I ran into Joseph Campbell, not the actual man.
I was like, whoa, this is a plot twist.
He's in heaven now. But when I was in university, there was a bartender at my dad's restaurant, Bob Patton.
No clue.
Never knew Bob, hey?
No.
Bob was great. And Bob talked about Joseph Campbell and gave me a VHS tape to watch an interview
of The Power of Myth?
Of The Power of Myth.
Okay.
So that was super cool. And while I was doing my Bachelor of Fine Arts in Visual Art, Joseph Campbell and The Power of Myth were really one of my go-to books that I would kind of...
And I love it. I found him from you.
From me, right.
It was this version, not the little guy.
Not the little guy.
Not this one.
Yes,
this one, which has
one.
the beautiful pictures in it.
It's an illustrated
and
version.
Illustrations and all kinds of little side notes. Yeah, it's fantastic.
It is fantastic. So I had it, and then I used it all through my BFA. I loaned out my version. I never got it back. Not cool, man. So I don't loan books out anymore. Now, if you want a book, I will just give it to you or say no, which is okay. And then I found a version, a big version like this, and I went and purchased it and stuffed it in my cupboard, and nobody can borrow it.
Oh, you did get a new version?
I did get a version, yeah.
I think when I bought this one, I was like, should I give this to Ange? Because I knew she had lost it.
That's cool.
And then I contacted you, and I think you told me.
That I have one.
I'm actually dealing with the thing
burping.
Heather was like,
oh, that beer. So...
Damn it, Heather, why?
So this book, I walked in a bit of a kerfuffle today, and I was like, I saw the book sitting on the couch, and I was like, I forgot a book for the favorite books. Can I borrow your book?
She always forgets books and
I often
steals all
do.
my books.
The shows are here, though. You have an unfair advantage. You just grab one off the shelf.
And half the time, I never even
He's not even ready till I show up with my book.
I'm never ready.
So
this
I
is
was
one of the rare
super
times.
excited, because I was like, can I use that book? And Dave says, no, I'm using that book. And I'm like, oh. So then he's like, well, and then I thought, well, I'll just do Wolf and Shepherd's Clothing, because that is currently my favorite book. Because I love it. I love it. I love all the things I create. And so Dave's like, well, you can also do this if you want. I was like, could we do the same book? And he's like, no. However, let me just do a shout out to Blake Bierland, he's a Saskatchewan musician, and he's, I'll tell you an off-screen story about him.
Okay. Oh.
But I went to Ghost Town Blues for a concert, and he was at it. He was performing. He's a country musician, and he made a comment. He goes, "Does anyone out here anyone in the audience know Joseph Campbell?" I'm like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Really?" And I was like, "You at the back," and we had a kind of this interesting, very brief but interesting conversation on how he's been inspired by Joseph Campbell, which is super cool.
I think so many people have.
Right.
So.
He's a country musician, like Cowboy Hat and all.
Yeah.
And then we're writers of YA murder mysteries. But the myth, the power of myth, right? And the idea behind everything that he believes in myth and its purpose for us is super cool.
Yes.
But not as cool as this book.
I also saw the other one, Hero of a Thousand Faces.
Right, which is one that Blake had brought up too at the concert as well. So
there we go.
So those are our books.
Okay,
That
so
was a rant.
you can find us on www.cunosandgane.com. All of us is now on cunosandgane.com.
All of
No
us.
other side sites or
Nope.
anything like that. We are full on there.
Yep.
So
And
it's pretty
Facebook,
exciting.
Twitter.
Check out our new
Instagram.
website. It's fantastic.
Dave
it's
did
beautiful.
so much work. It is beautiful. Thanks, Dave.
You're welcome.
Because he did all the work. I didn't do any of the work.
Yeah. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, of course, YouTube.
YouTube.
You can find all the links on our website
Yes.
as well.
Yes, handy dandy.
Yep.
And let's thank Evan Ulmer. Thanks, Evan, for making sure we
I
stay
think
in
he's
the
actually
screen.
blushing on the camera.
And for drinking the beer and eating the nuts.
Yeah.
And asking the questions.
Yeah. And if you have questions, hashtag us at AskCunosandGane, and you will probably not appear on the show if you make a complicated question. But it was a good discussion.
It was a good discussion.
I did enjoy that discussion.
So thanks for
thank you very
coming.
much.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
And just a quick thing, is it a small, and it appears smaller than it does on screen, right?
It's definitely not an auditorium.
It's
He's like
definitely not.
squished between my bookshelf and the desk. Yeah.
That's
But he's-
actually his first word. He walked in and goes, wow, it's smaller than it looks on YouTube.
And I have to say that my sister is quite upset that she's not our first behind the screen.
Really?
Yeah, she was like,
sorry,
I
Judy.
told her today, and she was like, oh, I was going to be that one.
Oh, no.
So-
Well, she kind of was when she called in.
She did. Oh,
Snap!
I don't know why I just did that.
That's kind of true.
It's because I've had too much beer today.
That's awesome.
All right, do you have a viewer of the week? You said
I
you had
do.
a shout out.
I have a shout out to Alvi Chowdhury, who I teach.
Okay.
And he actually, the way I found out about him, I had a comment on one of my one of our YouTube
Yeah.
shows that said, "Hey, is our pencil crayon drawing due on Monday?" And this
Oh!
stuff is lit. I didn't say the bad word.
Yeah.
Our shtick is lit.
Yeah, he commented on
Yeah,
YouTube.
and it made me laugh. Like, he's a very good artist. He's a really nice kid, and he made the comment. So I replied and let him know his assignment wasn't due. And then I told him that if he thinks it's lit, he should share it. So then I went to school on Monday. I didn't know who there was some weird name. And then I said, who made that comment? And one class was quiet. Nobody did. And then the second one, I said, who made that comment? And then this young man, Alvi, raises his hand. He goes, I did. And I go, is that actually your YouTube name? And he said, no, I made a fake profile because I didn't want you to catch me. Which is such a Charlie Wolf thing to do.
It was.
Yes.
And then even he has the big shaggy hair.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, he is
Yeah.
a version of Charlie
Absolutely.
right there. So, yeah.
So that was super awesome. And then a few days later, he's like, so what does Girl Interrupted mean? I'm like,
Oh, he's that one.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then he said, oh, yeah, and you talked about the 13th Avenue coffee shop. And he starts having this little dialogue with me about what he saw. And I'm like, Alvi, you get a shout out. Good job, buddy. You earned this.
he watched the show.
So that's my shout out.
And we
Shout out Evan Ulmer.
Yeah, we did.
Yes, totally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he gets the official shout out. Although I think we've already given him a shout out.
Well, we
shout
thanked
out.
him for being here.
No, in a previous episode.
Did we?
Did we?
Double whammy.
Nameless, but yes.
Oh, it was
Okay.
nameless. Yes, that's
Okay.
true. That's true.
Okay. So that's it.
That's
That's our
it.
show. That's 13 episodes.
And we're
How
done.
long? How long was it?
44 minutes and 19
Sweet
seconds.
Jesus.
Good. Oh,
Happy birthday.
by the way, Evan wants us to go longer. He was like, you should do 60 minutes and answer more questions. And I'm going to tell you, if you like that idea or if you hate that idea, please
Let us know.
Let us know because,
It's good feedback, so we can
it's good
decide
feedback.
how we're going to
I'm pretty sure that everyone is like, no, because when I look at how many views we have, it's like everyone kind of goes about 10 minutes and then cuts off.
We're like, we're done. We got to go do the dishes.
You're the only one who's ever watched to the end.
There's one
and
person.
he's probably like, I haven't even watched to the end.
Always.
Oh, really? There we go.
Ah,
So,
see? Where there's one, there's more.
yeah, bring more of them over.
Awesome.
Okay, so
We're
to
done.
those of you who stayed,
Happy birthday.
happy birthday to me.
Yes.
Congratulations on season 1 of the Cunos and Gane
And
show. You
congratulations
did it.
on the third. Yes,
Yes,
I did it. I
you
did
did
it. I
it.
didn't think I could do it.
And
And yay to us on.
Book 3.
Wolf
Come
and Shepherd's
celebrate
Clothing.
with us.
Come on,
April 21st.
Celebrate with us. This is a big deal. The third book. It's not just a book, it's a series. Holy cow.
And we're on the other side of the hill now.
Yes.
We're coming down now.
Yeah, it's 4 and 5 and then done. Cool.
And then whatever.
Whatever.
We'll never write again. Bye.